Hey everybody, Nick Espinosa, your chief security fanatic here, and it is Sunday, so we are doing breaches of the week. However, this is not going to be a normal breaches of the week. Due to my extensive travel schedule, I did not have the literal hours it takes me to compile all of my notes, basically collect all the data breaches that everybody sends me, and get that out in the standard form. But I did want to talk about something that I thought would have been like a finally, as I usually do. If you are a regular listener or viewer of the breaches of the week, you know I end with finally, and it's usually some important statistic. And so I wanted to do that for this week because that is the kind of time I have right now. Breaches of the week will resume its normal schedule this next upcoming Sunday, 7 days from now, and it should basically return to normal for a good long while. So if you are a regular listener or viewer, as I mentioned, stick around. It will be there, and I will thank all of the people for the last 2 weeks that have sent me a lot of this information, and thank you to all. So with that, I want to talk about a new report that recently just came out because Thales this past Wednesday reported that 40% of all organizations globally have experienced a cloud-based data breach in the past 12 months. Now, this new study was conducted by 451 Research, also found that despite the increase in cyber attacks in the cloud, 83% of organizations are still failing to encrypt at least half of their sensitive data that they are storing in the cloud. Even when companies protect their data with encryption, the study found that 34% leave the control of keys to service providers rather than retaining control themselves. And in one of basically the more sobering data points for the security industry, 48% admitted that their organization does not have a zero trust strategy, and a quarter of them, 25%, say they aren't even considering one. Zero trust, basically created by Forrester or developed by Forrester about a decade ago or so, has been one of those standard things, and I keep pounding it in to organizations that I consult with about basically creating a zero trust architecture for their environment. It is by far a safer way to create a network. Now, this research points out that basically with today's cloud and SaaS platforms, users are no longer accessing data solely through a corporate network. And so obviously that's a huge thing. Brendan O'Connor, basically CEO of AppOmni, talking about this, said that corporate users now access data through third-party apps, IoT devices in the home, and portals created for external customers or for external users like customers, partners, contractors, and managed service providers or MSPs, also basically third-party IT support. And using these channels, they often completely bypass the corporate network to connect to the information directly in the cloud. And to quote Mr. O'Connor, while companies are eager to use these access points to increase the functionality of their cloud and SaaS systems, they often neglect to secure and monitor them in the same way they've secured access from their corporate network, leading to major access vulnerabilities that may be completely unknown by the company. Since the complexity of cloud and SaaS environments and the associated security configurations will only continue to increase, companies will need to use automated tools to ensure that their security settings match their business intent and to continuously monitor security controls to prevent configuration drift. That is a very, very good point. I can't tell you how many times I've seen it, especially on the IT side, less on the cybersecurity side, where complacency sits in and essentially, something is removed from the, from the network, but the firewall isn't closed because somebody forgot about it, or they got lazy with it, or something along those lines. This is a huge, huge problem. Now, collecting and storing sensitive data in the cloud represents a sea change from just a few years ago where organizations were shying away from doing that. I remember in 2017 when the Cloud Security Alliance, or CSA, they put out an annual poll to basically say, do you trust the cloud or not? Which is it, on-prem or cloud? And for the first time in 2017, more organizations were trusting the cloud than they were on-prem solutions. So there you go. Now, according to Sumitra Das, the CTO of Blue Hexagon, he added basically there are two reasons for the increase in cloud security breaches, and he's completely right. Cloud security has often been left in the hands of developers who are not security experts. I cannot tell you how many times I have seen this, or we have audited Amazon AWS S3 buckets configurations or Microsoft Azure, and my God, are they completely insecure, meaning, well, it's up and running, I wash my hands and I walk away, not realizing everybody, not just those selected users, can access that information. And the other side of this too, and I've talked about this extensively, is the pandemic created an incredibly fast transition to the cloud, and so people were cutting corners. that is a very, very serious problem. And understanding how to develop and deploy and secure on-premise hardware and infrastructure is a different animal than the cloud. This is why there are specific certifications for cloud security. This is why we audit cloud in a much different way than we audit on-premise solutions. There's different controls, and oftentimes the Amazons, the Microsofts, the IBMs of the world are giving you a ton of tools for you to enable, and you're simply not doing it because you're not aware, or you don't understand, or a developer did it, got it up and running, and then essentially just walked away from it, not realizing just how vulnerable of a state this is in. Not to mention the fact that most aren't using encryption at the moment. That just boggles my mind that that is actually a thing. So there you go. That is essentially why we have data breaches in the cloud. It's why I have to spend hours every Sunday compiling these lists and thanking people that sent me a lot of these data breaches, because oftentimes this is essentially what we are talking about. It is a huge, huge problem that we have here. And so hopefully you've learned a little bit and we can move on, but please make sure you are securing your clouds properly. And so that has been your breaches of the week, although not quite breaches of the week. And as I said, in 7 days, I will return, and it's going to be a long one because I'm catching up for 2 weeks. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter at NickAESP, and please feel free to subscribe to me at YouTube as well. And as always, stay safe, stay online, and please stay private. Thanks, everyone.